what's so interesting about looking at the mix of owner occupiers and renters is that there's this rule of thumb that's commonly, thought about in or talked about in property circles, which is the 70-30 rule. 70% owner occupier, 30% investor. Now, it's nice in theory because if you look at actually the total makeup of property ownership in Australia, it's roughly in that proportion. About 70-30. So it's logical to go, oh, well, that makes sense. If I want to go and buy in an area where it's all very balanced, that's great. Weirdly enough, though, the most highly performing suburbs in Sydney for capital growth, and that is, and this is over the last 30 years, this is Peninsula where Potts Point, Rushcutters Bay, Elizabeth Bay, those sorts of areas. It absolutely breaks the mold when you think of all the stereotypes and the myths around property. One, don't buy apartments, yet predominantly that area is full of apartments. There's very few houses. Two, only buy where there's at least 70% owner-occupier. Well, something like in excess of 60% of the properties are actually owned by investors. And yet over 30 years, we talk about the long game here, that has actually experienced the best capital growth in Sydney. So isn't that weird?
Here is a lesson in every rule has an exception in property. So you have to do your research.
Exactly.
We're talking macro here. We're not talking micro. So Veronica's talking very micro there. And that's important to do. But at the moment, we're just at that really high level, looking across the country at how you determine what kind of area you might start to focus in on.
And I'm going in for the jugular with that point because the 70-30 rule is often applied in areas of new subdivision and new development. And we're going to say it doesn't matter how much research you do not be thinking that a new subdivision or a new development is the right place for you to invest.